I'm sure we have a number of questions from the audience. So please use the chat box if you cannot unmute yourself. And I'm sure the presenters will be happy to answer your questions. Okay. So while we're waiting for whoever asks questions, I was just going to ask you, Amina, can we really associate this labor market disadvantage that a number of ethnic minorities experience to, can we say it's more of employers' discrimination? I was just trying to understand that bit. Is it from the employer now, or do we have other factors that you can associate to the situation?
Wow, that's a very good question. Thank you very much. And unfortunately, I don't have a single answer to that. So the problem with us as ethnic minority or anyone that has moved from their own country, whether they are white, black, or another religion, another color, some of the issues that we face, yes, we can't run away from institutional barriers that are there. I have been having a lot of meetings related to my research with people within the NHS. And what the challenge that I've had is everybody that is sitting there who is in senior leadership is white. But there's also been one big shift that I've seen from last time when I was in the industry to now is this time it seems like there are a lot more white women. So is there an issue there of color, or is it just because those are the people that have yielded to the call and going ahead and applying? So I would say, personally, I would say the institutional barriers have been there, will always be there. They are not going anywhere. And this is where we as ethnic minorities, whether Asian or African, so what I found as well is there are a lot of other like stereotypes that are put on Asian women. And then on the other side, there are the stereotypes that are put on African women. So African women, oh, she can't do well as a leader because she's too strong, because she's too aggressive. The Asian women, it's, oh, she can't do well as a leader because she's too soft, she's too calm. So there will be those issues. However, it's what we do, I think, to fight those. And there's no person that I interviewed or even just spoke to outside of my research who is not resilient. So the institutional issues will be there, but it's also what we put in ourselves and how much we keep fighting to get there. And unfortunately, it is a fight. It's not as easy as a plate will be given. You have to be good, but you also have to be doubly good, because if there's 5 of you, as one woman I interviewed said, if there are 5 of you there and maybe there's 3 Black women, 2 Asian women, an Arab woman, a white woman, chances are, unless you're really, really good, because you're at the bottom of the hierarchy, you'll be able to beat the other ones. Or there is something around this wanting to have more diversity, to show that they have more diversity. I have taken that on the chin. There's been times when I've got a job because I'm the only Black woman there. So we have to keep fighting. That can work to our advantage as well, but it's usually we have to put in that little bit more. I don't know if that answers your question.
It does. And I think that could pave good ways to say for those that are coming in. Actually, sometimes I find it difficult to advise people. And you ask me, do you think I can come? I'm not going to use the UK now. Like, do you think I should travel out of my country? And I find it difficult to tell them what to do. Then I only say, is this something you believe in? But then I wish I have good points to raise, to tell you can actually do it. Yes, they can do it, but then when they start facing these issues, they'll be like, you should have told me. It's so difficult to like make something good out of my life if I come in, issues like that. So I think what you've said is quite interesting. Like I said, I'll be thinking about that the whole week. Thank you. And Annabel, so I don't know if we have people who have questions for both Annabel and Amina. We have a few more minutes. Okay, over to you, sir.
It's actually me, Will. I'm just one of the hosts behind the
Hello,
scene.
Dr. Coladay.
Slightly different.
That's the
but
host,
my question,
Will.
Yeah. My question is for Annabel. I want to make sure I've got this right. I might be wrong. I might have misheard. But you said you had a undergraduate degree in marketing, but then went into customer services for Santander. So when you're applying for the other jobs and they didn't accept you, do you think that was because of biases? And also, if it was, what do you think we can do as organisations to prevent that happening in the future and incorporating more, say, migrants, give them equal opportunities to get into those roles?
I think it's a mixture of things. Why I didn't get the job. Definitely there's some biases involved there. What can organizations do? Organizations need to attend events like this. Organizations need to be open to having conversations, because from way back when I started studying human resource management up until now, within organizational context, we find that it's sometimes really, people find it uncomfortable to talk about race, talk about racism, talk about discrimination and so forth. But we need to get to a place now that, times have moved on, and we have identified problems, as we have seen throughout the pandemic, throughout the Black Lives Matter movement and so forth. But if we can get people to be more willing to join these kind of conversations, I think that will be the first start, okay? And then we can build on that foundation. But it's just having that initial acceptance and wanting to engage in different contexts, just like this conference today. I think that will go a great way.
So sorry, just to follow up on that, do you think organisations should make it mandatory for leadership to attend educational events on equal opportunities, or do you reckon that would just drive more resentment towards it?
Very good question. It's a difficult one to answer. If you make things mandatory, then that could lead into it becoming just a tick box exercise. I'm just attending because I've been told I have to attend. I'm just completing this course because, again, if I don't, I'm going to be pulled up about it. But finding other ways in which getting managers or whoever involved, okay? Show them the way, or maybe highlight to them the positives, and give them examples of maybe people that have engaged in such training and what they have gained out of it. That way they can make their own conscious decision to join or not to join. But it's a problem when you make things mandatory, because it's just sometimes leads into that tick box exercise attitude.
That's great, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, there's a question from Rad. So how do we get ourselves around the right table? So I guess it's for both of you.
Yeah, I'll answer a part of that very quickly. I'm just looking at the time on this side to say, because we're running a bit behind. So I'll answer very quickly, and then Annabel, if you have some points to add to that, that would be great as well. So from my point of view, in terms of getting ourselves around the right table, the previous recording that we had from Dr. Mercy Mumba is find out what do you really, where do you really want to go? Because the right table for me would be a wrong table for you. So first and foremost, have a goal. Where do you want to be? What do you want to do with your life? Once you find that, start looking at, are there any people that you may know in those industries? Are there people, find out where their networking events would be, and then start intentionally networking. There is a dark side, as Dr. Chi said, of networking, so you have to be very careful. I once was told by one of the really good mentors that I have, based in the US, is when you go for a conference, when you go for a meeting, you don't want to talk to everybody. You don't want to waste your energy to talk to, okay, let me collect as many business cards as I have. If you can make one rich connection, that is a connection that might be able to open some door for you. So the first thing is understanding what is the right table for you, and then strategically following. I'll give an example. I came to do this PhD because I saw an opportunity. I don't know how many of you know about the NHS People Plan. So I saw an opportunity with the attrition in the NHS, especially around migrants that they recruit from other countries. And then it's almost like people come and they do their time in the 5 years. Once they get their indefinite leave to remain, some leave, go and work somewhere else, or go back to university. Others leave and then come back and work as agency. So they're taking away the power from being controlled, the bureaucracy that's in the organization. So how can organizations help themselves? So for yourself, it's about where do you want to go, and start looking out for people within that industry that can help. And with LinkedIn now, I have almost 10,000, you know, my students are laughing at me. They're saying I'm a LinkedIn influencer because I have one post on there that has more than almost 2,000 comments now that I made. But LinkedIn is a good place for you to go and look at people and connect with them, then send them a message, talk to them. Some will respond, some won't. I found a lot of people for this conference, including Professor Yudi Achbong, who spoke first, through LinkedIn. So there we go.
Thank you, Amina. Annabel, you want to say something?
No, yeah, no, just not much to add, to be fair. Just like what Amina said, you know, knowing where you want to go, definitely, and also having, not being afraid to network, whether you are an introvert or an extrovert. As Dr. Amarachi Maugo highlighted before, there's different ways in which we can reach out to people of interest, okay? And it's just sometimes about taking that first step, and you pray and you hope that, you know, that one connection is going to lead you somewhere else. Because sometimes you might make contact with somebody, but they're not just the right one, but they can always refer you somewhere else. So it's just knowing where you want to go, what you want to do, and then making that connection.
Okay, thank you for that. And thank you both for the insightful and educative discussions. I've gained a lot. And thank you everyone for participating. And